Hey everybody, what's going on? And welcome to Guns N' Roses Central. And with the St. Louis Riot anniversary coming up, even though last year was the 25th anniversary, this year is the 26th anniversary. And of course, we've got Guns N' Roses going to be kicking off their North America tour, and of all places, St. Louis. I thought it would be cool to take a look at the actual fan that Axl jumped in and punched in the face. At the 91 show in the Riverport amphitheatre. So a lot of people are probably wondering, like, whatever happened to that guy? So if you guys remember the whole story, he sued Axl. They went to court in 1993. He ended up getting an undisclosed amount of money, and he also got an autograph from Axl. But one of the funniest things about the guy's story, his name is Stump, like that's his nickname. And he's part of this biker gang, and he was taking photos, and that was agitating Axl. And Axl was keeping an eye on him for a lot of the show and signaling to the security, and they just didn't seem to really be doing anything about it. And it was so funny the way he actually got his autograph from Axl. So they were in court. I think the court had the jury, or I don't know if they had a jury. The trial had ended. So Stump basically told his lawyer, he's like, well, I still need to get my autograph from Axl. And his lawyer's like, are you kidding? So Stump walks over to Axl where he's sitting down and basically asks him for an autograph. And Axl kind of looks at him and is like, Axl probably feels like he wants to punch the guy, but he's like, I'm in court. I just went through this whole legal turmoil with the St. Louis riot. I probably don't want to do anything. So he basically asked Stump who he wants the autograph made to, and basically that's how Axl signed the autograph for him. And then in Slash's book, when Slash is actually talking about the St. Louis riot, he talked about how he ran into the guy years after the riot happened. So Slash was in St. Louis, and he was actually touring with Slash's Snake Pit. So in Slash's book, he tells a story. He said, when I returned to St. Louis with Snake Pit in 1995, the night before my show, I was walking from my hotel down to the row of bars nearby. I wasn't going far, so I didn't need to bring security because I knew I was meeting our crew down there. But as I walked down the main drag, I saw 5 bikers in front of me and no one else around, and for a moment I got worried. It was a pretty dark night on a pretty dark street where tall street lamps illuminated spots of ground every few yards. I got closer to them and they were looking at me and I was looking at them. One of them got off his bike and came at me and I wasn't sure how it was going to go down. Hey man, he said, grinning wide, I'm the guy who Axl hit. Like I was supposed to pat the guy on the back. He had an attitude like, hey, we're both anti-Axl, right? He seemed to think we had something in common, but I don't work like that. If any of you talk shit about Axl, I'm going to get up in your face. Only I can do that because I have the right. Not some punk on the street who doesn't even know him. Things got tense in the moment, but the guy started in with his own story, almost apologetically. He had just won all this money in the lawsuit. I think he'd been awarded his damages by the court like 2 days before. It was a tense situation. It was obvious to me that this guy was riding high on that cash he'd just gotten, and he wasn't going to spend it wisely. His friends seemed to be enjoying his good fortune with him, that was for sure. Because all of them were clearly out on the town. He was the shortest of the bunch, and as all small guys do, he was trying to impress everyone in sight. He had earned his bragging rights and a decent amount of our cash. But as he told me a few minutes that I paused to speak with him, in the days after the incident, he couldn't leave his house. He received death threats by phone, hate mail, all of it. Only after the city won the lawsuit, after which he won as well, did the whole tide turn for him. I was totally not impressed with this guy. I told him so, and I had to go, and that was it. So where was I? So you guys may think this is the true story episode I'm doing on St. Louis. It's not. The true story episode is going to be much longer and much more detailed. But I thought I'd give you guys a little preview. And you guys may be wondering, well, 26 years after this event happened, where is Stump today? Well, one of the local St. Louis news stations actually interviewed Stump. Back in 2016, when Guns announced their summer tour across the states, St. Louis was originally announced, but they hadn't announced a date or a venue. And this is the news story that ran where they actually interviewed the guy, and he was surprisingly welcome to the idea of Guns N' Roses coming back to St. Louis.
New at 10, will they come back to the jungle, or will St. Louis tell Axl Rose and his band to take a hike?
Tonight we have an exclusive interview with a man in the middle of the 1991 Riverport riot. Fox 2's Jeff Bernthal is live in Maryland Heights with the story for us. Jeff?
Yes, it was a long time ago, but we're standing in the area where there was a Code 1000, a call for police from throughout the area to respond to that concert venue that was then known as Riverport. Started with a fan taking pictures of Axl Rose while he was on stage. Well, tonight, we caught up with that fan.
No pun intended, but I think it's a riot.
Axl Rose was performing. A fan was taking pictures. It's hard to believe now, but picture taking was prohibited at the 1991 concert.
After I took the picture, it was kind of like He was scanning down the crowd, pointing in my direction.
Rose yelled for security and eventually dove into the crowd after Bill stumped Stevenson. Security tried hosing down the crowd with water. Stevenson was eventually strapped to a medical board.
While I'm strapped to a board, I'm still seeing bottles and chairs and all kinds of stuff flying around. I'm telling this guy, I said, either flip me face down so I don't see what's going to hit me in the face, or get me the hell out of here. One or the other.
Rose would eventually be dragged into court. He would go on to bash St. Louis repeatedly, using language we can't use. So why in the world would St. Louis now be a scheduled stop?
No pun intended, but I think it's a riot.
Stevenson says if there's a concert, he'll be there because he's still a fan. He has enough photographs with famous musicians to fill a museum. The Riverport Riot takes up 4 pages in one book documenting rock music in St. Louis. There's even a comic book set about the Riverport Riot.
25 years, it's been a crazy train of a ride, you know.
He plans on using the 25-year anniversary as a time to reunite his old band. In the past, they played with a Guns N' Roses tribute band. He says there's plenty of blame to go around for the Riverport Riot, but he does not regret taking those pictures.
If you want to be a celebrity and be in the limelight, autographs and pictures is part of that. You know, if you don't want to be a celebrity, get on the couch, get out of the way. There's somebody that wants that job, you know.
Even though Guns N' Roses recently announced St. Louis will be a scheduled stop, there is no specific date or venue that's been announced. The 25-year anniversary of the Riverport Riots will be July 2nd of this year. Reporting live from Maryland Heights, Jeff Bernthal, Fox 2 News.
So that basically does it for my sneak peek at the Guns N' Roses True Story episode that's coming up. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Or any of you guys going to the St. Louis show, I think that's going to be one of the most interesting shows that Guns are going to be playing on their U.S. tour. That does it for today's video, guys. Thanks for watching. As always, hit the subscribe button if you enjoyed the contents of this video. And if you want to see more videos just like it, and be sure to follow me on social media. The links to my social media channels are down below. And you can also support me on Patreon. The links to my Patreon page are down below as well. Take care.